Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Stream It or Leave It. Today we're going to be talking about the TV show Chapelwaite. Now this show is based on the short story Jerusalem's Lot by Stephen King. While I wasn't sure whether or not I was going to finish the show, my curiosity was piqued enough to listen to the original story and I liked it. I was more curious about this being an homage to H.P. Lovecraft, whose work I'm yet to explore. Anyway, let's get on with what happens in the first episode of Chapelwaite. It's 1817 and a man who appears to be in some kind of rage is digging a grave out in the garden as his son stares out of the window in horror. The man suddenly storms into the house, strangles the boy's mother, takes the boy outside and hits him with a spade. The boy falls into the fresh grave, and just before the father can bury him, the mother, who is still alive, shoots him and tells the boy, Charles, to leave. While the man was in this rage, his son Charles and his mother do try to convince him that he's unwell, but it doesn't work. The man seems convinced that they need to die. 33 years later, Charles has a family of his own and they live at sea for the most part. His wife has just passed away and he and his children are burying her at sea. He decides, after getting a letter from his cousin, to sail to Maine to give his two daughters and son a better life. He tells the children that they've inherited a mill and a house in Maine called Chapelwaite. His cousin Stephen, who owned the house, and his daughter have since passed away. We also see that Charles is still plagued by nightmares of his father and that fateful night. So the family arrives at the house, which looks quite dark, uninviting, and vaguely ominous. He tells his children about his family. As he's giving them a bit of a tour of the house, they ask why he never mentions his father, and he says that his father was peculiar, and we see what's meant to be a painting of his father, I guess, ripped out of the wall of the family gallery of paintings. When Charles goes down to the cellar, he sees a suspicious red stain on the floorboards and restraints, as though someone was being kept in the old steel bathtub and restrained. Then worms start falling out of the roof and we're not sure if he's hallucinating or not. For the most part, he gets back to the house fine and warns the kids that the stairs are dangerous and out of bounds. Rebecca, a local university-educated writer, asks if Charles Boone would like a governess and he agrees, but she's actually there to collect intel and write a story about him, the family, and that cursed house. She wants to find out the truth about Charles and the mystery of Chapelwaite. At one point, she's playing a game with the children and she pretends as though she's trying to contact a spirit. Naturally, a bird flies into the wall and the cellar door opens on its own. There's obviously something unholy happening in that house and the town knows it, and so do the children. They sense something. His daughter at one point tells him that there's something that he's hiding which scares her. The townspeople don't like the Boone family and want to run them out of town. They thought that the previous Boones were wicked and that it runs in the family, obviously. As one of the men looks like he's about to go and burn the Boone home, he's met on the road by someone in a top hat who kills him. At the end of the first episode, Charles is in the bath and he hallucinates dirt and worms while he's having flashes of his father's final moments. As for my thoughts, interestingly enough, after having decided that I won't carry on with the show and instead just listening to Jerusalem's Lot, I've since kind of changed my mind about the show. I guess I will be streaming it after all. Horror isn't my favorite genre, but sometimes there are anomalies, like all of the shows from the makers of The Haunting of Hill House. Anyway, I'd recommend giving this a go, in broad daylight though, because yeah, there are some pretty scary and unholy vibes. That's it for this video. Thank you for watching.